already know what it is. It's Barbershop Conversations. Hit the subscribe and the like button today.
So Ronnie, let's get the elephant out the room.
So like I'm in jail.
You're the one who chose to wear black.
This is true.
They wear black in jail? See, I don't really know.
Can you speak to why the fight was delayed? Just so we can get that out the way and then move forward.
Yeah, man, I'm kind of.
I know you got to answer that. I know. It's fight week though.
Okay. We go back 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we fought here in LA. And, you know, we do all our medicals and everything, and we do the eye exam, and they rejected the eye exam. So we said, okay. So I got to bring Jamal out here a week early before the fight. Do the eye exam with their commission doctor. Turned out, the same eye exam we did in Houston, the same thing they found here in LA. They say, no problem, you got no problem. Okay, but why you rejected that? They just, I don't know. So then we fought out here again, exact same thing. Fly back out here again, do the eye exam before we fought. And I said, okay, man, everything is good. So then we fought in Vegas. Exact same thing. They would not accept the eye exam from Houston. And the thing about it, I used 4 different ophthalmologists in Houston. 4 different ophthalmologists. They all found the same thing. No problem. Had to fly them out to Vegas a week before the fight. And same thing. So I asked the doctor in Vegas, I said, man, do you think we should do like LASIK or whatever? He said, no, man. He said, he's a young guy. He shouldn't have to do that. I said, well, why in the hell we keep coming back here? They keep rejecting this eye exam in Houston, where we live, and we have to keep coming to you. You find the same thing that they found. He said, I don't know. He said, I don't know who's doing it. So then when we fought Austin Trout, same exact thing. They sent me, we got to redo the eye exam. Okay, we do the eye exam. Normally for everybody else, wherever you fight, I mean, this eye exam is good for the calendar year, but not for Jamal. And it's only Jamal. I don't know why. So we did the eye exam, we sent it to Vegas, got it back. They called me up, say, you got to go to Vegas to do the eye exam again. So I said, look, man, they disrupted my training. So 2 weeks before the trial fight, I took him to Vegas. Same commission doctor. He said, why are you here? They doing the same thing over and over. So I told Jamal, I said, look, after this fight, man, just go and get the LASIK surgery done and be done with it. Then that way we don't have to worry about every fight we got to go out a week or 2 before, do the eye exam, and then come back and do the same thing. I said, man, you know, and he got sick of it and tired.
So it's just logistics.
So yeah, so I called Tom Brown, who's his promoter, you know, TGB. I said, look, man, get in touch with the IBF, see what kind of exception they can give us so Jamal can go and do this eye exam. I mean, just this eye procedure and get it done with. And I said, he's just going to go with basic LASIK, and that's it. We're going to do that. So the IBF came back, they sent us all the paperwork that we had to fill out. We did that, went to the doctor, got the eye exam done, got the surgery done, sent all the paperwork back, and they say, look, you know what? The doctor said, look, 2 to 3 months you need off in order for everything to heal up the way it's supposed to heal up. Now we're here.
What separates Charlo from JROC?
Well, look, they're both are young guys, they both are really good, they both can fight. But I just think the will to win. You know, I've been knowing Jamal since he was like 8 years old. And I don't know anything about Dre. I'm sure he has a great will. But, you know, Jamal shows it over and over and over, not only in his fights, but in the gym also. And to me, that separates the both. That separates them for what I've seen of JROC and for what I've seen of Jamal.
What's going to be the different Saturday night? First of all, how was camp? Because obviously you got to start camp. How was camp?
Camp was great. You know, it was. We started camp because first we was going to fight in October, then all of a sudden they can sit back to December and all I hear is, oh, Charlo's scared. Charlo is not a promoter. Charlo is not the IBF. You know, when the IBF told TGB, hey, this is when you have to go, that's what it be. So we sitting back and all we read is that, oh, Charlo is scared. I mean, why would a guy who's champion of the world be scared to fight anybody?
I can name a few other champions who are. The reason is because there's 5 belts, 6 belts in every division. That's the reason why. I'm not saying your guy's one of them, but I'm just saying some of these belts ain't real.
That's Billy Joe son.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, after this big weekend performance.
Middleweight champion of the world, and he's gonna Golovkin, also middleweight champion of the world. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, but,
Ronnie, can I ask you a really biased question?
go ahead.
You know, JROC's coming out of Philly, a lot of really good fighters in Philly, and somehow all the good fighters in Philly who've been in the ring with JROC say he's legit. I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with Houston, Texas, or anything like that, but who's some of the guys maybe that Charlo's been in with that kind of say, hey, okay, this kid's got it also? Because I know about his Philly background. I feel like this kid sort of proved himself. That's a conference tournament. Now he's in the college football playoff. How did your guy get to, you know, those sort of actions he's at now? Who are the guys he had to go through in the gyms?
You know, back in Texas, man, you know, we have so many good fighters back there. Whether you know it or not, you know, we have a lot
No,
of
I want you to name
champions.
some. I know I don't know them. I'm ignorant.
No, I say whether you know it or not, I'm just saying, but we have a lot of good fighters in Houston. But we have a lot of fighters that come to Texas, too, from all over. That Jamal used to spar when he was a young kid, Barnes Martin. Just back then, Barnes was like 17, 18 and 0. And Jamal wasn't even professional yet. You know, but I was training Barnes. You know, and I mean, look, Jamal has sparred with so many good guys that, you know, it's just, you know, he is the type of kid that he doesn't care what people think about him. He doesn't care about anything. But sparring with people doesn't make you a fighter. Because anybody can spar with somebody. But that doesn't make you a great fighter. You know, what makes you is your will and your determination. So sparring, I mean, you can spar with anybody. I mean, Jamal has sparred with a lot of good guys and a lot of bad fighters. Jamal sparred with Sakio Bika. At the time, Sakio was champion, 168 pounds. You know, and I mean, he sparred with so many different guys, man. It just, you know, it doesn't matter who you spar with. You know,
I was just curious.
It matters when you get in the ring. He sparred a lot with Alexander Lara. You know, and Lara to me.
How'd those sessions go? Because Lara's sort of defensive and cute. I'm just curious.
Yeah, they went great. The thing about it is, you know, Lara is a little bit older, and before they even work together, you know, Lara helps him, showing him different things that he knows, and you know, and Lara helps all of the guys in the gym.
Is there like a language barrier because of the Spanish, or not so much?
Not so much, because you know, Lara understands. You know, he's taking English classes, so he understands a lot. You know, but in boxing, you know, we have our own boxing term, so everybody understands that language. You know, but other than that, man, I mean, you know, that's all I can say.
No, man. Well, it's not any position. I was really just curious of what the kind of action he's getting down in Texas.
Oh, but I mean, you know, we bring in sparring partners all the time. So it's not like, you know, I mean, look, I work with a lot of different fighters all over. And we've always brought sparring partners in. Never have we relied on somebody just being, you know, I mean, I could tell you of a lot of fighters that he's sparred with that you probably even know.
I would love to hear it.
But
I mean, we love hearing stories about what went on in the gym that no one else knows. Those are the best stories there are. Golovkin Cole, all this shit.
But I'm saying, you know, that doesn't matter. What matters is...
It matters a little bit, right?
It doesn't. Gym wars, you go to Mayweather for that. You go to his gym if you want to see gym wars. That's not learning. What you learning? What you learn how to fight, bragging rights in the gym. You know, no, we teach boxing.
You mentioned champions not avoiding other champions. If it was up to you, since we have so many champions in different divisions, do you prefer 4 different champions, so that's 4 guys having a chance to hold a belt, or would you prefer that each division has 1 champion?
You know what? I tell you, man, I do prefer these 4 champions. And I tell you why. You know, for me growing up watching boxing, you know, they always had 1 champion. Nobody really got to know anybody else unless you fought for the world championship. You know, back when Ali was champion, you know, you had 1 champion. And nobody knew all these other guys.
Frazier,
you know?
Foreman, Shavers,
Right.
Norton. I can name them all.
Heavyweights.
Now. Yeah, well, not the
Name flyweights.
Flyweights?
Yeah.
From the 70s?
Yeah.
I don't know. The lowest I can go probably in the 70s is 130.
But that's my
Tyrone,
point.
Everett,
You
Alfredo
make a
Escalera.
name 1 or 2, but you can't name a bunch of fighters. You know why? Because nobody knew them. Nobody ever, you know.
Will anyone remember the 3
only
other
if you had
guys?
it. Only if you had a name. People know you only if you have a name. So, look, why it's confusing to a lot of people, a lot of boxing fans know who the champions are. But I prefer 4 because that's more opportunities for everybody.
Right.
When you only have 1
But you're going
champion,
to get some suckers in those 4 sometimes. I'm sorry.
And I understand that, but how do you determine who is the #1 fighter then? If you have 4 champions,
You ain't
or do
gonna
you
ever
care
determine
if there's
and
number
I don't. I
You-
don't
okay.
care because you know what? Look, fighters have to fight. Boxing is a business like football, basketball, baseball. People don't want to see it boxing in that they don't want to compare boxing to that because they all feel the same way. Well, it should be on 1 champion. But you know what? All of these guys, they can't play football, basketball, baseball. They have to make money. They can't, a lot of people didn't go to college, you know. And whose fault is that? It's not nobody else's fault but yourself if you can't really do anything else. So boxing is a sport, and you have to understand what the sport is all about. And know that every fighter deserves an opportunity to feed his family, to do everything. And if you only have 1 champion, you know how long that line is going to be before you even get a chance to get a title shot?
Yeah. I just one last question on this note, because this is very interesting. But how do you feel about the fighters such as Triple G or Kovalev before, who really want to unify a division now? Because you said all boxers need a chance.
Yeah.
So if you've won 2 belts, if you won 3 belts, and you desperately want to prove to the world that you are the #1 fighter in that division, how do you feel about them?
Look, I've been saying all along that the best fighters should always fight the best fighters. That can happen right now because you have, you know, I just say like right now with Danny Jacobs, you know, he got a subpar world championship, right? But he's the mandatory for Triple G. From what I understand, they're trying to make that happen. And it should happen because I think people would really want to see that. And look, I'm all for the best fighters fighting against each other. You know, you're not going to ever see Kovalev and Triple G fight because of the weight difference. At least I don't think so.
Speak to that. What's the attributes that Jamal Charlo possesses that you believe JROC doesn't?
Oh, man. Well, I think he possesses a lot. Again, I go back to the will. You know, Jamal has a strong will. You know, and I can only tell you because I know Jamal. He has a very strong will. Plus, he has power in both hands. And, you know, and Jamal's a good boxer when he has to be. And look, when he has to put pressure, he's a very good boxer when he has to do that also. So, you know, and you can't compare the guys that they have fought because they haven't had a similar opponent. So it's hard to say what a guy would do because styles make fights. And their styles are not really different, but I think some of the guys that JROC has fought, I think Jamal would knock him out, and vice versa.
So he has more power.
I think he has more power. But, you know, that's my opinion.
What does JROC possess that you have worked in the camp with Jamal to take away from during this fight?
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't just look at one thing after that. I look at the whole picture. So that means, we work on everything. If we are, let's just say Jamal get hit with a right hand. Okay, we work on how to get away from that. To getting with a hook, we work on how to get away from that and what to do behind that. So, we don't let no stone be unturned. We work on every single aspect of the game. And that's the way I train with everybody.
In fights these days, when you do have best versus best, like we just talked about Ward Kovalev, and they're rare, but they do happen.
Yeah.
It seems to me the victors often are the ones whose corner was able to make an fight adjustment.
Yep.
And you had a lot of guys who were great trainers before a fight, but then during the fight, that's just not something that they can do. Do you feel like there's a difference in terms of what you're able to do with Jamal, where you could say, let's say, go to plan B or a plan C? Do you have the ability sort of to, because of who he is, to move from whatever the initial idea is to another one?
Well, I tell you like this. That's a simple question for me because I was a fighter.
I know.
And
a good one.
I know.
I don't mean to take anything.
I know the ins. I know the ins and outs. And if I couldn't do that to help Jamal, I wouldn't be training him.
But can he handle it? You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Look, this is why you train for so long. This is why, from day one when I first started training him, I trained him for this kind of level. We didn't just. You don't get to a level to start training a guy for this level. You start from here, and you bring him up to here. Once you get to this level, then he has to know, okay, we worked on this in the gym. I know what to do. I got to counter here. I got to be first here. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to switch things up. Everything is repetition. At the same time, you have to know this right away, because suppose he don't make it back to the corner for me to make an adjustment. So he has to know how to get back to the corner in order for me to make him that adjustment.
What's your opinion on Canelo at 155?
That's crazy. It's crazy like everything else, man. Look, guys come in and they start making money in the sport. They do good on people watching them, so they figure, look, I can do whatever I want to do. But it's not just Canelo. Miguel Cotto does the same thing, and a few other guys do the same thing. I think that, the powers that be are greedy because they let it happen for the money that they're making using the fighters. They really are using the fighters when they do that. So I think it's crazy, and I think they need to.
Hey guys, it's your girl Angie. You're watching Barbershop Conversations. Make sure to click the button below to subscribe, like the video. Don't like it, leave a comment. You can also follow me at Angelica Curtis on Instagram. See you soon.